Good morning, students. Today, inshallah, is going to be our first lecture related to phonetics and phonology. First, I'd like to present some notes about the book. You are going to see that there are two versions of the books, but the information contained in both versions are almost the same. Now I'd like you first to pay attention to this list of symbols used at the beginning of the book, which are the symbols of the phonemes of English language. They are important because we are going to deal with them in the rest or almost in all chapters of the book. Of course, they are divided into either what we call symbols for phonemes or symbols for non-phonemic symbols. يعني هي الرموز اللي تشير إلى الأصوات أو الرموز اللي تشير إلى غير الأصوات. Anyhow, we are going to deal with them through books. Then I'd like to refer to another important things which is at the beginning of this book, the difference between dialect and accent. Sometimes these both terms, dialect and accents, are confused, but both of them means a variety of a language. If I am going to say dialect, it means a variety of language. If I'm going to say accent, it is also variety of a language. But what is the difference? Dialect is a variety of language which is different not only in a pronunciation but also in grammar and vocabulary, in other aspects of the language, while accent is defined as a variety of language which is different from other varieties in pronunciation only. So accent is a variety which are different from other varieties in pronunciation only, while dialect is a variety of language which is different from other varieties in pronunciation, in grammar, in vocabulary, and maybe also other aspects. Now, the important things that we are going to deal with today is articulators above the larynx. The larynx, which means al-hunjura. Now, if you look at the diagram, you are going to see the articulators. Why we are going to study the articulators? Because we need to know how sounds are produced. And if we are going to know how sounds are produced, we are going to know how to pronounce the sounds perfectly, or at least we are going to know how to pronounce the sounds. Now, we are going to start with the pharynx because larynx is considered as complex and independent articulator. We are going to deal with them later on in chapter 4, inshallah. Now, pharynx. What is pharynx? Pharynx is a tube. كما تشاهدون هو أشبه بالأنبوب. Is a tube directly above the larynx, is divided into two parts. One is going to be the back of the oral cavity and the other is going to be the beginning of the nasal cavity. Here, according to the diagram, it is a diagram of the head of a human. We are going to see that in general, we can't say that we have nasal cavity and oral cavity, and مجرى الأنف ومجرى الفم. Now, after the pharynx, we are going to find the soft palate or the velum. The soft palate is that part which can be seen at the back of the mouth. If you are going to open your mouth wide and use mirror, you are going to see the soft palate. Soft palate has a main function that it can either be raised to close the nasal cavity, and in this case we are going to produce oral cavity, which is in the case of all the vowels and some of the consonant sounds, or it's going to be lowered and close the oral cavity, and in this case we are going to produce the nasal sounds like mene and in. Now, what else? The other part, we are going to follow the order in the book. After pharynx and after the soft palate, we are going to move to the sorry, we are going to move to the hard palate. But before that, let us try to know what sounds are produced with the soft palate. The soft palate can be touched with the back of the tongue. The back of the tongue against the soft palate, we are going to have the sounds like K and G. You can feel it, K and G. And since they are produced with the soft palate against the back of the tongue, they are known as vela. Vela. And we said that the hanging part of the soft palate is known as uvula. Now we are going to move to other part, which is the hard palate. The hard palate is the other part or the inner part of the roof of the mouth. سقف الفم يقسم إلى ثلاثة أقسام. The next part after the soft palate, we have the hard palate. Of course, there are some sounds that can be, for example, produced when the tongue is against the hard palate, like for example, yeah, yeah, and in this case, the sound which are produced with the tongue against the hard palate is known as palatal. Now, what else? We have the alveolar ridge. Alveolar ridge is the third part of the roof of the mouth, which is the part between the upper front teeth and the hard palate. Here exactly, between the upper front teeth and the hard palate. Of course, the sounds, you can feel this part of the palate, which is alveolar ridge, if you are going to use your tongue. It is between, as we have said before, the hard palate and the teeth. The sounds which are produced with the alveolar ridge against, or alveolar ridge against the tip of the tongue is known as alveolar. Like for example, t, de. If you are going to pronounce t, de, you are going to feel the alveolar ridge. What else? We have the tongue. The tongue is important. Why? Because of its greatest movement. The tongue can be moved to touch the lips, the teeth, the hard palate, and even the back of the tongue can touch what? The soft palate. So it has a great variety of movement. The tongue can be divided into parts. Start with the tip, at the tip, and then the plate, front, back, and the root. This division is not clear, but you have a picture in your book that is that shows you the part of the tongue. Again, the tongue can be used to produce many sounds. For example, if the tongue against the teeth, for example, the and the, and it's going to be what? Dental. In this case, the sounds the and the are known as dental. Other articulator or organ of speech is the teeth. What is important for us, which are important in producing sounds, is the upper front teeth. The other are not involved directly in producing sounds, but of course they are important, though we have a lot of teeth from the beginning to the back of the mouth, but the importance are, as we've said, the upper front teeth. And the sounds, as we have mentioned before, the tongue, which are produced with the tongue against the teeth, like for example, the and the, are known as dental. We have sounds like the and the, the upper front teeth against the lips. They are known as labiodental. What we have else? I think we have talked about all the parts of the oral cavity, but we still have the lips. We have two lips, the upper lip and the lower lip. And again, they are important in producing sounds, as we've just said, producing fe and ve. The sounds in this case are not going to be, or are known as labiodental. and the lips can be brought together as in p and p, and these sounds are known as labiodental. Again, the lips are important in producing the vowel sounds. For example, if you are going to say or to pronounce oo, the sounds oo, which is a vowel, yes, it is a vowel sound, oo, the lips are rounded. But if we are going to say e, for example, e, the lips are neutral. The lips are important whether in producing the vowels or in producing the consonants. These are, of course, not all the articulators, but we have other articulators, as we have said, like the larynx, which are going to be discussed later, and we have the jaws. But we cannot say that we cannot call them articulators because they are not directly involved in producing the sounds. These are related, what is important about this topic, which is the articulators above the larynx. I hope that you are going to listen, and if I missed something, I hope that you are going to remind me later on. Now I should say thanks for listening and wish you all the best.